So both of these microphones have been on the channel before, but before we were comparing the AT2020 to the Rode NT1A, and we were comparing the AT2035 to the Rode NT1. Now, where the Rode NT1 and the Rode NT1A are actually pretty different microphones, actually very different microphones, these two microphones are much more similar, with the AT2035 very obviously being an upgrade of the AT2020, and I'll show you what I mean by that. First, I did just want to mention, if this video happens to help you make a decision on which one of these microphones to purchase, there's going to be an affiliate link pinned in a comment below. That's how this channel is being supported right now, and I would just really appreciate it. Yeah, if you happen to make a decision, that's the best way to support the channel for the time being. So as I was talking about with the specifications of these two microphones, the AT2035 is very obviously just a little bit better in almost every category. For example, you get a stand mount with the AT2020, you get a shock mount that is custom fitted for the AT2035 with the AT2035. The AT2020 has a 0.63 inch diaphragm. That's the actual part of the microphone that picks up sound. The AT2035 has a 0.96 inch diaphragm. The larger diaphragm on the AT2035 is going to pick up a more sensitive audio image and perhaps a little bit more detail than the AT2020 will. The AT2020 has a max SPL level of 144 decibels. The AT2035 has 148 decibels with a negative 10 dB pad, meaning you can go 10 dB higher than that. Do you kind of see what I mean whenever I say the AT2020 and the AT2035? There is a very proportional upgrade on all of these numbers. It's almost like it was calculated to be so. In addition, the AT2035 has a low cut at 80 Hz, so if you wanted to sort of cut out the mud on the microphone before even bringing it into your audio workstation, you can do that with it as well. The self noise on both of these microphones, the AT2020 has a 20 dB self noise and the AT2035 has a 12 dB self noise. Let's talk about self noise for 1 second because I've gotten a few questions on it in the comments below. It's kind of confusing. See, most people, when they think of the decibel, they think of the unit that you measure loudness in. You think of the decibel as the unit for noise. And while that is true, it's also sort of not true. And without getting into the complexities of this sort of subject matter, I can just sort of sum it up by saying the decibel is a ratio. You need another unit attached to the decibel in order to make it the actual way of measuring volume. That's already kind of confusing, but typically, whenever we're referring to dBs being heard in the physical world around us, we're referring to dB SPL, or dB sound pressure level. The dBs that you're seeing in your audio workstation are not dB SPL. There's something called dB full scale. Don't worry about that for the time being. The decibel level that we use to measure microphone self noise, that's called dBA, but for the sake of this video, let's refer to it in dB SPL. 0 dB SPL is complete silence, and that's extremely rare. One could argue not even possible. 30 dB SPL is around the same volume as a whisper about 2 feet away. So when we say something has 12 dBs of self noise, you can kind of assume it's about half the volume of a whisper being spoken at you from 2 feet away. It gets even more complicated than this because loudness is based off of the relative position of your ear. So a whisper can be really loud if they speak it directly into your ear, but 2 feet away, it's a completely different volume. You can see how loudness can get kind of difficult to measure. I hope that gives some sort of frame of reference for how loud microphone self-noise can get. But in general, it's pretty quiet. Now, in terms of my personal opinion on these two microphones, I really love the way they sound on male vocals. It seems like they have a really pronounced mid-range and low mid-range, which really enhances sort of lower voices. It kind of reminds me a little bit of like a condenser version of an SM57 or an SM7B. A condenser version, you should still remember that these things are going to pick up so much of your room. In their frequency response, both of them have boosts in the high end and kind of similar ranges, but it's the flatness and the low mid-range and the mid-range that I think really defines how this thing sounds on my voice. So they have similar sound profiles. Both microphones are marketed heavily towards streamers and content creation and voiceover, and it's easy to see why, because these things sound really great on vocals. But they also do great on a lot of other things. I'm talking overhead, strings, guitar cabs, acoustic guitar, really anything. This thing is going to be a great, extremely versatile microphone for anything that involves condenser microphone work. So for the price, I genuinely think the AT2020 might be the best microphone you can buy for $100. the best condenser microphone, I should say. Whereas the AT2035 sort of sits in this weird middle ground where it's not quite as expensive as an NT1A or an NT1, and it's not as cheap as an AT2020. In my opinion, I think a lot of people are going to have a hard time justifying $150 whenever there are a lot of upgrades not too far away in the price range. But that's just my personal opinion. You're welcome to disagree. Hey guys, so now is typically the time that I would introduce the guest singer. But unfortunately, some things happened. If you guys didn't know, I used to record on my old phone. It completely broke. All the footage from the original video is gone. All the footage of the guest speaker is gone. This is my second run through of this whole video. Might explain why I seem a little bit more low key than usual. So I don't have the footage. And I'm sorry. I think it's very important to show the microphone in a musical context. We don't have that option today. I tried to get another guest singer to come. I actually asked 4. Schedules sometimes just don't align. I'm sorry. Genuinely, I'm very sorry, because I think it's an important part of a microphone review. If you guys are a part of this channel, we'll make sure to do it again on the next video. That being said, we do have the typical blind guitar shootout prepped and ready, so let's go straight into that. We're going to do a blind acoustic guitar hearing test so you can decide which microphone you prefer without the bias of the visual. Folks, that was all. Thank you so much for watching. Remember, if this video helped you make a decision on one of these 2 microphones, there's an affiliate link to purchase down below. I get a small commission from it. It'd be really appreciated. Follow me on Instagram at RealAudioHaze if you want audio lessons. I'll put my qualifications up on the screen, and email me at realaudiohaze@gmail.com. That is all. Thank you so much for watching, and I'll see you in the next video.